This is the Honor 90 and it's a strong contender for mid-range champion in 2023. And if you stick around, you'll see why I say that. This phone has a lot of strong attributes, but straight out of the gate, something you need to know is this phone has a 200 megapixel primary camera and a 50 megapixel selfie camera, and that for a mid-range phone is pretty crazy. So anyway, let's stop wasting time and let's get straight into it. The official release version of this phone will come with a silicone protector. I don't have it here because this is a pre-release version of it. In the box, you'll get a USB-A to USB-C cable and an Honor 66 watt supercharge charger, which can take the 5000 mAh battery in the Honor 90 to 45% in just 15 minutes. Okay, first impressions of the phone is the power button and the volume rocker are in the perfect spot, right where your thumb rests when you hold it if you're right-handed. The in-display optical fingerprint reader is in the perfect spot and it never misses. And it feels really quite thin and it's nice and light at just 183 grams. And the back has this really nice texture. They say this texture right here is inspired by diamond grid patterns seen on expensive jewelry. One of the greatest things about this phone is it's not as expensive as jewelry. And most importantly, the back of this device is not a fingerprint magnet. The Honor 90 is available in 4 different colors with fantastic names. There's diamond silver, peacock blue, midnight black, and then there's this one, which is the emerald green. And the camera module has a really unique design. Honor calls this the dual ring axisymmetric design, and it's also referred to as the mirror lunar design, inspired by different phases of the moon. And when you flip to the front, you'll notice the bezels are thin all the way around and the screen is actually curved on all 4 sides, which makes navigation gestures a little bit smoother to use in comparison to a flat display. Now let's talk about the display, because this is something special. It's a 6.7 inch 120Hz HDR 10 Plus AMOLED full DCI P3 color gamut, 2664 by 1200 pixels with a PPI of 435, which is incredible for a mid-range smartphone. And get this, the peak brightness is 1600 nits. Again, that's very impressive for a mid-range phone, even brighter than some flagships today. And it's so good, in fact, that DxO have given this their gold stamp of approval, and also Netflix and Amazon Prime Video have given this their HDR seal of approval for content. So you don't have to just take my word for it, it really is that good. And something else that's special about this screen is that it uses PWM dimming tech, and to explain this simply, it's an anti-flicker technology. And I know you probably think that your phone doesn't flicker, and that's because it usually happens so fast it's imperceivable to the human eye. But it does happen, and it will cause eye strain without you knowing. So Honor says that the PWM tech can and will reduce eye strain by 18%. So if you're the type of person who stares at your phone for long periods of time, this is designed to protect your eyes. And another really nice feature that Honor have added is the circadian night display. So this is where the screen can automatically adjust the color temperature based on your usage day to day. So as you're getting ready to wind down for the evening, it will slowly change the tint a bit more orange, which helps your eyes absorb less blue light that can keep you up at night. And if you really want to save power, you can adjust the refresh rate from 120 to 90 to 60, or leave it on dynamic where it will change between the 3 for you automatically. And there is video enhancing software as well, which improves HDR video content. And when you turn this on, it's not system wide. You can choose specific apps that you want it to work on. And one area that's been improved compared to the Honor 80 is the built-in speaker. And yes, I said speaker as in the singular sense of the word. It's the downward firing driver, and it's clearer, louder, and has more bass than before. But of course, you have to make a conscious effort not to block the speaker with your hand when gaming or watching movies without headphones. And I found if you hold it with the volume rocker and the power button on the top edge, you won't experience any issue with that at all. Now, if you're wondering about the IP or IPX rating here, there is no official one, but you can see when popping the SIM tray that Honor have made some efforts to prevent water seeping in through here. So I do believe this will be able to survive some light sprays, but you definitely don't want to submerge this phone in water. And you'll notice that the SIM tray is in fact a dual SIM tray that can support two 5G SIMs at the same time. And it can do this because at the beating heart of the Honor 90 is the Qualcomm Snapdragon 7 Gen 1. And the 8 series is of course the top tier, and 7 is one step down from that, but it's still powerful enough for most people and even gamers. And I tested out Genshin Impact on this with the graphics set to high and the frame rate set to 60 frames per second, and it did stutter a little bit at first, but then once I opened the game center and changed it to game mode, it became pretty smooth pretty quickly. And of course, in doing this you sacrifice battery power for performance, but sometimes when it comes to games, it's worth it. And Honor has thrown in 12 gigabytes of RAM with the option to expand the RAM by 7 gigabytes using the internal storage for that extra speed. You can get it with 8 gigs as well. The storage options are 256, 8 gigabyte, 256, 12 gigabyte, and 512 with 12 gigabytes. And here's some benchmark results if you want to quantify how powerful this chip is. And one important aspect that's also been improved here on the Honor 90 in comparison to the Honor 80 from last year is the vapor cooling chamber. So it is around 4.5 centimeters squared. The bigger the cooling chamber, the better it can disperse the heat, and the cooler it can keep the processor so it doesn't have to throttle the performance. And right now you're seeing thermal readings of the phone whilst running the Geekbench 6 benchmark test. And the operating system is Android 13 with the Magic OS 7.1 skin running on top. And something I like about Magic OS is the card tiles, which are slightly different from the traditional widgets, and they allow you to create these bigger folders and stuff like that. Something I'm not a big fan of though is it does use Windows Swift key as the default keyboard out of the box. I quickly switched this to Gboard because that's what I'm more familiar with, and I just prefer it in general. Okay, so I've saved the best to last. It is of course the cameras. Primary camera is at 200 megapixel. 1/1.4 inch sensor is huge, and it uses 16:1 pixel binning for better light capture. And I have to say, I'm really impressed with this camera's performance, not just on the primary when it comes to photo, but also with video. The maximum video resolution here is 4K 30 frames per second, and the quality is very good. It also has a 12 megapixel ultra wide, which doubles up as the super macro, which again is really impressive. And the last sensor is actually a 2 megapixel depth sensor specifically designed for improving depth information. So you'll see this in action when you're taking portrait photos where the background is blurry with the rear cameras. Now the front facing cameras is another big one because it's a 50 megapixel sensor, which is a crazy number for a selfie camera, and this uses 4:1 pixel binning. Again, this additional information in each photo increases the detail but also captures more light, making this better in low light situations. And it is a wide angled lens with a 100-degree field of view, so it's going to be good for capturing group photos. So overall the Honor 90 ticks a lot of boxes. Good screen, good battery life, good cameras, fantastic speed and power for a mid-range phone. And if you're wondering about the price, because I'm making this video before the phone was announced, I don't know the price right now, but I will pin it below this in the description, just below where that shiny subscribe button is. So let me know in the comments guys, what's the most impressive feature here? In your opinion, could you see yourself rocking the Honor 90 as your daily phone? And if there's anything I've missed in this video that you want to know about, let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to answer that, and I'll do my best to add it in future videos as well going forward. Anyway, I appreciate you guys for watching. See you in the next one. Don't be late.